Operational Readiness Wake-Up Series. Episode: Supervisory Readiness. Why promotion without preparation multiplies risk. This is part of the Operational Readiness Wake-Up Series, short briefings examining the structural gaps that quietly create instability inside organizations. Each episode isolates one recurring risk pattern and clarifies what stabilizing it actually requires. Today's pattern: promotion without preparation. Every organization celebrates promotion. It signals growth. It signals trust. It signals recognition. But promotion without preparation is one of the most expensive structural mistakes an organization can make, because performance and supervision are not the same skill. And when we confuse them, instability follows. Here's what typically happens. Your highest performer delivers results. They meet deadlines. They solve problems. They require minimal oversight. So naturally, they are promoted. But execution excellence does not automatically translate into leadership competence. And the moment responsibility shifts from doing the work to managing the work, the risk profile changes. Now that person is responsible for delegation, performance evaluation, conflict resolution, risk escalation, cross-functional communication, team morale, accountability documentation. Without preparation, they rely on instinct, and instinct is inconsistent. When supervisors are promoted without structured readiness, you don't see failure immediately. You see subtle instability. Delegation becomes uneven. Feedback becomes avoided. Underperformance lingers too long. Escalation happens late. Documentation becomes reactive. And slowly, the organization absorbs invisible cost. High performers burn out. Mid-level employees disengage. Mistakes repeat because corrective feedback lacks structure. Meanwhile, leadership wonders, why does this team feel unstable? The issue is not character. It is preparation. Supervisory readiness is a risk control. Most organizations treat leadership training as optional, or worse, as a reward after someone struggles. But supervisory readiness is not a perk. It is a control mechanism. Prepared supervisors understand how to structure delegation instead of hoarding tasks. Recognize early signs of disengagement. Conduct performance conversations with clarity instead of avoidance. Escalate risks before they become crises. Align their teams with organizational objectives. Unprepared supervisors overwork themselves, undercommunicate expectations, avoid difficult conversations, create inconsistency across teams, normalize preventable friction. One supervisor affects 5, 10, sometimes 50 people. Unprepared supervision multiplies instability at scale. Here's the dangerous part. Most newly promoted supervisors are confident. They were successful before. They believe they can figure it out. And sometimes they can. But confidence without structured competence creates unpredictable leadership environments. Some teams thrive, some teams fracture. The difference is not intelligence, it is preparation. Organizations often misdiagnose this as leadership style differences. In reality, it is structural inconsistency, and inconsistency erodes trust. When supervisory readiness is assumed instead of structured, instability rarely appears immediately. It surfaces gradually. The cost shows up as increased voluntary turnover, burnout among high performers, delayed escalation of issues, inconsistent documentation, performance variability across teams, cross-functional friction, repeated corrective action, reduced confidence in leadership decisions. At first, these seem like separate problems. Retention appears unrelated to documentation. Documentation appears unrelated to morale. Morale appears unrelated to coordination. But they share a common root. Leadership capability did not expand alongside responsibility. When supervision is personality-driven rather than system-driven, variability increases. And variability is the earliest signal of structural instability. Supervisory readiness is not motivational training. It is structured preparation aligned with responsibility. It includes delegation frameworks, performance conversation models, risk escalation protocols, documentation standards, cross-functional coordination training, early-stage leadership coaching, not reactive workshops, not figure it out as you go, structured capability. Promotion should be followed by preparation, not followed by pressure. So here's the question for your organization. When someone is promoted into supervision, what changes? Does their title change, or does their capability change? If the answer is only title, you have risk exposure. If readiness is structured before instability surfaces, you have resilience. Supervisory readiness is the first pillar of operational competence because leadership amplifies everything. Strong supervision stabilizes systems. Weak supervision magnifies gaps. You cannot build cross-functional alignment without stable leadership. You cannot improve retention without prepared managers. You cannot reduce preventable mistakes without structured supervision. Promotion is recognition. Preparation is protection. And organizations that understand the difference outperform those that assume readiness. This perspective reflects the operational readiness framework developed by Success Track Solutions. If these patterns are present, they are structural, not incidental. Instability is rarely accidental. It is architectural, and architecture can be redesigned.